My husband's family invited the woman they always wanted him to marry to my baby shower. Then they lied to my face about it. I'm 26. My husband Daniel is 27. We are expecting our first baby in 2 months. This should be the happiest season of my life. Instead, I keep feeling like I am fighting for my place in my own family. Daniel and I have a complicated history. We dated when we were younger, broke up for a while, then found our way back to each other as adults. I know that sounds romantic when people summarize it. It is not that simple. During the time we were apart, Daniel was close with a woman named Elise. She was a family friend. His mother adored her. His cousins treated her like she already belonged. Everyone thought she was perfect for him. Quiet, polished, from the right kind of family. The kind of woman his mother could brag about without explaining anything. When Daniel and I got back together, he told me nothing serious happened with Elise. Later, I found out that was not completely true. They had gone on dates, spent weekends together, talked about a future. He said it was confusing. He said he was lonely. He said he never stopped loving me. I chose to forgive him, not because it did not hurt, because I believed we were building something honest now. His family never really forgave me for coming back. That is how it felt, at least. No one said it directly. They smiled. They hugged me. They posted engagement pictures. But there were always little comments. Elise would have loved this restaurant. Elise still asks about everyone. She was basically family. At first, I tried to ignore it. Then I realized they were not remembering an old friend. They were reminding me of who they wished was standing in my place. Daniel said I was reading too much into it. He said, "They just know her." I said, "They keep comparing me to her." He said, "Nobody is comparing you." But he never corrected them. That became the pattern. They would make me uncomfortable. I would say something. Daniel would say I was overthinking. And somehow the conversation always ended with me apologizing for having feelings. Then I got pregnant. For a little while, things improved. His mother became warmer. His sisters texted me more. Everyone talked about the baby. I wanted to believe we had moved into a better chapter. Maybe becoming the mother of Daniel's child made me impossible to treat like a guest. Maybe that was naive. The baby shower was planned at Daniel's aunt's house. It was supposed to be small. Family. A few friends. Nothing dramatic. About a month before the shower, his mother casually mentioned that Elise's parents might stop by. I said I was uncomfortable with that. Daniel was sitting right there. I explained calmly. I said, "I don't want Elise at my baby shower." His mother said, "She probably won't come." I said, "That is not the same as saying she is not invited." Daniel's mother smiled and said, "Don't worry, we understand." I wanted to believe her. The day of the shower, I was already overwhelmed. Too many people touching my stomach. Too many opinions about names. Too many jokes about how motherhood would finally soften me. Then I saw Elise walk through the front door holding a gift bag. I froze. She looked beautiful. Of course she did. Simple dress. Perfect hair. Soft smile. She hugged Daniel's mother first. Then his aunt. Then one of his sisters. Like she belonged there. Like I was the one who had arrived late. Daniel noticed my face and immediately whispered, "Please don't do this right now." I said, "She's here." He said, "I didn't know." I wanted to believe him, but I was tired of always having to believe people who benefited from me staying quiet. I got through the shower. Barely. Elise was polite. That almost made it worse. She did not cause a scene. She did not act smug. She gave me a baby blanket and said congratulations. Everyone probably thought I was ridiculous for being upset. But the problem was never just Elise. The problem was that I had said no and my no had been treated like a suggestion. After the shower, Daniel's younger sister, Priya, pulled me aside. She looked nervous. She said, "I don't think you're being told the truth." My stomach dropped. She told me Elise had not just shown up. She had been personally invited by Daniel's mother, and at least 3 family members knew. I asked if Daniel knew. Priya hesitated. That hesitation told me enough. She said, "I'm not sure what he knew, but he knew they were talking about inviting her." I felt like the room tilted, because Daniel had sat beside me when I said I was uncomfortable. He had heard me. Then he let me walk into that shower unprepared. That night, I confronted him. I said, "Your family invited Elise after I said no." He said, "We don't know that." I said, "Priya told me." He immediately said, "Priya causes drama sometimes." That was when something changed in me. Not because of Elise, because his first instinct was to protect the lie. I said, "So your sister is lying, but your mother is automatically innocent?" He said, "I'm saying we don't have proof." I said, "I was humiliated at my own baby shower. That is proof enough that someone ignored me." He said, "You're making this bigger than it needs to be." I said, "No, your family made it bigger when they invited the woman they wanted you to choose instead of me." He got angry. He said, "You need to stop acting like Elise is some threat." I said, "She is not the threat. Your family is." That shut him up for a second. Then I said, "Every time they cross a line, you ask me to be calm. When do you ask them to stop crossing it?" He did not answer. The next day, his mother called me, not to apologize, to explain. She said Elise's family had been close to them for years. She said excluding her would have looked cruel. She said I needed to be more secure now that I was becoming a mother. Then she said, "You won. You married him. Why are you still threatened?" I almost laughed. One, like my marriage was a contest, she still thought Elise had entered. I said, "This was my baby shower." She said, "It was a family event." I said, "I am the one carrying the baby." She said, "And we are the baby's family too." That sentence stayed with me, because that was exactly how they saw it. My body, their event, their guest list, their rules. Then Daniel's cousins started texting. One said I was being insecure. Another said pregnancy hormones were making me dramatic. His aunt said I was punishing Elise for Daniel's past mistakes. Nobody asked why multiple adults lied to a pregnant woman at her own shower. That part apparently did not matter. Daniel and I fought for 3 days. He kept saying he did not want to be caught in the middle. I said, "You are not in the middle. You are my husband." He said, "They're my family." I said, "So am I." The turning point came when I asked him one simple question. If our daughter grows up and tells her husband she is uncomfortable and his family ignores her and lies to her, what would you tell her to do? He looked away. I said, "Would you tell her to be secure, or would you tell him to protect her?" He still did not answer. That was the loudest silence of our marriage. Update 1. Daniel finally admitted he knew his mother was considering inviting Elise. He claims he told her not to. Maybe he did. Maybe he did not. But he also admitted he never followed up. He said he did not think she would actually do it. I said, "You did not think she would ignore me because you never take it seriously when she does." Update 2. I told Daniel I will not attend any more family events until his mother apologizes directly. Not a vague, "Sorry you felt hurt." Not an explanation. An actual apology. He said that might take time. I said, "Then I have time." Update 3. His mother has not apologized. Instead, she sent Daniel a message saying she is worried I will keep the baby from the family. I told him I am not keeping the baby from anyone. I am keeping myself from people who think lying to me is acceptable. There is a difference. I do not know what happens next. I love Daniel. I want our family to work. But I am tired of being treated like I should be grateful I was chosen while everyone keeps honoring the woman they preferred. I cannot build a peaceful marriage with a man who only defends me after the damage is done. And I will not let my daughter grow up watching her mother beg for basic respect. Maybe people will say I am insecure. Maybe they will say Elise did nothing wrong. Maybe that is true. But this was never really about Elise. It was about my boundary being ignored, my feelings being mocked, and my husband acting like neutrality was not a choice. It is a choice. And right now, it feels like he keeps choosing everyone else first.